What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Dylan Talks. And today we got to talk about this recent news of the possibility of podcasters being a part of White House briefings. You heard that right. Could you imagine Theo Von, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, anybody with their own audiences being able to ask the president important questions, changing the times entirely from it being the media with the voice to now anyone with a platform with a voice? Coming from TMZ, Nelk Boy's manager pitches to Trump on podcasters joining the White House press as it needs a shakeup. On Tuesday, the manager for the Nelk Boys explained how the president-elect seems responsive to his great idea to presidential bro podcasters for the administration's upcoming daily media briefings. Trump hit the podcast circuit hard during the election, and John says that it helped him gain traction with younger generations of voters, particularly men who consume podcasts as opposed to traditional news outlets like the ABCs, CNNs, and the NBCs of the world. With Trump elected, John says it makes a bunch of sense for Trump to keep these same folks involved, using podcasters to help deliver the news and Trump's message to people who don't tune in to the mainstream media. And this means getting them press credentials and sending them to the White House for briefings. John said he pitched the Trump idea a couple weeks ago at the UFC fight they all attended, and his vision involves a separate media room for podcasters and content creators.
Question, how would it work? I mean, how would, say, a Theo Von, who's a comedian...
How you even came up with this and when, like, your conversation with Don, and just dial the germ of this.
Well, I brought it up to a few people at the administration, and I just think it's the best way to deliver news to the audience that, to the younger audience. Obviously, mainstream media has its own audience in the older crowd, but, when he did this podcast run with Nelk Boys, Theo Von, even the live streamers, Aiden Ross, Patrick Bet-David, he tapped into a whole different audience that doesn't necessarily watch NBC or ABC or CNN.
What I'm wondering is the reaction you're going to get from traditional media. They're going to feel so threatened by this because the audiences for these podcasters are so much bigger than them that they're going to have more of an impact. And I think it's just going to change everything if it happens.
Harvey, we've known each other a while, so I've got to ask you, who gives a shit what they think? Right? Who cares what they think? You know what I mean?
Are these podcasters going to go in there and, yes, they're, you want to get the message out to their audience, but are they also going to be willing to challenge the administration when something just doesn't seem right, when something isn't adding up, or are they just going to be there as cheerleaders? Because the press has a very serious role, plays a very serious role in our society constitutionally.
I think there have been a few guys that have kind of pressed him. I do think there are going to be things. Now, there's not going to be gotcha moments. We don't do that. We wouldn't do that with anybody. Even our podcast, if we were to interview someone on the other side, Theo had Mark Cuban on his podcast, and there were no gotcha moments. I think the mainstream media, the ABCs and CNNs, they love the gotcha moments because they love to make them look bad because they think that's what their audience wants. There wouldn't ever be a gotcha moment, but I do think if there's some pressing stuff and there's some questions that our audiences want to hear, they're going to ask.
Now, my honest thoughts about this, I do think this is a W move, and I really would like to see this become a reality, in my opinion. Now, in other news, Lil Wayne seemingly addresses Kendrick Lamar's whacked out Murals lyrics from his recent album. And on a tweet from X, Wayne had posted, "What did I do? I just be chilling Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let the giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me. Love. Lil Wayne, as you know, has been vocal about his disappointment in not being selected at the Super Bowl as headliner, and he had even previously told the crowd at this year's Lil Wayne festival, that moment said to myself, I want to be on stage for the Super Bowl one day in front of my mom, and I worked my butt off to get that position, and it was ripped away from me. And so for the past couple of months, it really seems like Wayne has been dragging it out on how he has not been chosen to perform at the Super Bowl, to where Kendrick recently responded to all of this on his album. That's why Wayne made the tweet saying, what did I do? And apparently because of all of this, Lil Wayne is going to be headed to the booth to write a diss track on Kendrick Lamar.
I'm hearing that somebody picked up the phone, tried to call and see what the energy was. I'm hearing that Kendrick didn't answer.
Well, he told us in his letter, I go without a phone for months anyway. Don't call my phone.
Yeah, but if I'm calling you rapper to rapper and you don't answer, it's like what Mark told Flip when they had they.
Yeah.
Now I'm going in the booth. You have until I get in that booth
to hit me back. I don't want to hit
If
you
you
back.
don't.
Nigga. Go in the booth. Go in the booth.
Let's stay there for a second.
Are we talking about Wayne?
Yes. I'm hearing that Wayne went in the booth.
Oh, Lord.
Now, a diss track over all of this is really unnecessary. And I'm sure it'll be entertained because rap battles are always entertained. But when people look back at what started this beef between Wayne and Kendrick, people are going to be like, over the Super Bowl? And from Kendrick addressing it, that led Wayne to respond with a diss? That's wild. Now, there looks to be a video that I just watched where Lil Wayne's manager seems to be not convinced that a diss track is coming, as he posted a emoji saying cap to the whole situation that's circulating on the internet of this possible diss track that Joe Budden was referring to. But after seeing the tweets from Lil Wayne, I really wouldn't be surprised if a diss track does reveal itself in the near future. You know, I could see it. Now, in other news, Drake looks to be suing UMG over the whole rap battle between him and Kendrick Lamar. And basically in the lawsuit, it will involve defamation of character and alleged botting when it comes to views.
It might really be over for Drake. After him running the game for like 15 years, maybe even more, has it been? What is it, like 2010? So it's been almost 15 years now that he's been running the game, and it may have come to an end. It probably has, to be honest, if this doesn't turn out somehow in his favor. I don't know how it turns out in his favor. But apparently Drake is suing his record label, Universal Music Group, for basically trying to tank his career and make Kendrick Lamar beat him in the battle to drop his stock through bots and payola, paying radio, which is illegal, and basically paying influencers without disclosing that they paid the influencers to promote this song. Basically, he's saying that they did it to make him look bad. Why would they want him to look bad? Because currently, allegedly, this is what I'm hearing, he's in contract negotiations with UMG, and they gave him $400 million for a deal for him to recoup, basically, and they could license his music and make that money back or whatever. And then he gets to walk away with his masters and basically own all of his back catalog, all of his masters, everything, which is worth like so much money, basically. And UMG wasn't trying to have that. They don't want him to be able to walk away scot-free because $400 million is a lot of money to recoup, and he did it really quickly, and he's going to be able to leave with his masters. That is basically how the music industry moves, so I'm not surprised, and I'm not mad at him for suing them for that, because we all know that the labels are trash, right? Whether or not Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was botted, I believed it was from the beginning, because it just, to me, it just seemed weirdly big, right? Pause. Maybe people were just waiting for it. Maybe there was no bots. Maybe he has proof. If he doesn't have proof, then I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know how you even prove that they bought it unless you have proof, right? People are citing a stream that Academics did with a botter or whatever, where he said that he was paid by someone from Kendrick Lamar's team to bot Not Like Us for 30 million views or whatever, 30 million plays or whatever over the first few days. And that may be true. It's not foreign to the music industry to bot views. This has been a thing forever. It always goes under the radar because they also own the media.
This will be the most interesting case, I think, in hip hop history, especially Drake going to war with the music industry. The media and everything's going to change on how they've gassed him up for so many years. You're going to see such a pushback over this for sure, because this man is actually suing the label he's a part of that gave him $400 million. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be such an interesting back and forth between the two to watch. And I'm curious how it'll turn out. I do know, however, if he wins, if you are an artist, how you rap will not be as freely outspoken as it used to be. There will be so many limits, and the labels, and not just the labels, the platforms will decide what you can say and what you can't. You're already seeing that with platforms already, but this right here is going to change the game and shake things up in the music industry if Drake gets this W with this lawsuit, without a doubt. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, it's been your boy Donald Talks. Stay tuned.